welcome to Movement Not Miracles on this very miserable 2nd of July, Thursday the 2nd of July, and it's raining, not to worry. So Movement Not Miracles is all about giving you some ideas on things you can do at home to stretch, move through your joints, look after your posture, keep things mobile so that you don't stiffen up and maybe get some of those aches and pains that we get from time to time because our muscles are stiff, our joints are stiff through sitting in the same position or staying in the same position for long periods of time and not moving through the full range of motion in our joints. And when one joint gets stiffer, then our body works like a chain, and so it has to compensate. And if one part of that chain is stiff, then other parts of that chain have to work in a slightly different way. So some muscles might stiffen up, or they might have to work and stretch more than normal or overwork, and that can cause problems further up that body. So sometimes we find that we've got pain in our knees, but it's actually coming from our hips or our ankles. It's not just the knee, it's the knee joint that's working in a way that it's not designed to do. So keeping ourselves mobile and looking after the full range of movement in our joints is a good way to prevent some of that stuff happening. Not a foolproof way, this is movement, not miracles. So we can't perform miracles, however we can keep you moving. So some ideas today for twisting. And so this is going to work through predominantly our upper back in terms of movement, twisting movement, but there's also going to introduce some stretch through our hips, I'm just looking at my list, and our shoulders as well. So to start off with, we're going to just get some extension through the spine, through a forward bend. So if you are seated, you can do this using seating, bending forwards, can't get my words out. So if you're sitting in a chair, and if you position your chair so that you are close to either a surface, something that you can push your hands down onto. If you haven't got that, it doesn't really matter, but what you're aiming to do, I'm going to do mine with my legs bent because I'll be able to get more of a bend. So if you think of bending forwards as if you're being pulled from your chest, so we're not just folding down, you want to get some extension in your spine, so you're bending forwards and pushing your bottom backwards. And if you've got a surface to push your hands on, then you can also push your arms down. So we're aiming for some extension through our spine. If you can stand, then stand with me. Remember, this forward bends, we need to be quite careful, you can't see me now, quite careful so that you look after your lower back. So again, if you need to use a surface to help you with this, or do it from a seated position, that's absolutely fine. If you can hang in this forward hang position and concentrate on your feet being flat on the floor. So don't let your feet roll out so that you are either on the outside of your foot or roll in so that your weight is on the inside of your foot. You want your feet to be flat, so the weight should be through the big toe and the little toe. Imagine you've got 4 corners. So your big toe, your little toe, and either side of your heel. And you should be able to feel all 4 points on the floor. And imagine that you are just relaxing. Legs stay straight, so you will feel a stretch down the back of your legs. But what you're aiming for, if you think of somebody pressing a pressure on your lower back, on your sacrum, pushing you into the floor, keeping those 4 corners of your feet, and you should be able to feel your back just extending a tiny bit more. It's quite a relaxing posture, this one. You can use your elbows to help just relax down. So you're active through your legs. Don't let your feet roll out. Mine are being cheeky and keep rolling out. I forget about my big toe joint. But as you relax and breathe into this, you might get a bit more extension through your back, which is quite nice. And if we're going to do some twisting, it's useful to have for your back to feel elongated and not stiff and all bunched up before we start. So the first one we're going to do, if you are seated, so you're sitting in a chair, imagine that I'm in a chair. I can't bring the chair because you won't be able to see me just the way the camera is. But imagine you're sitting in a chair and one elbow back and you're bending down towards the opposite knee. So we're aiming for a nice big extension, open your chest at the top of the move, elbow goes back, and then close everything down, aiming towards your knee so that you're getting a nice twist through the body. If we are kneeling, similar sort of move, so you're sort of in a half kneeling position, your bum is not exactly on your feet, but you're not up in full kneel either, so in a half kneeling position. And again, the elbow comes back and is quite far back, and then we're going to bring the elbow to the opposite arm and then twist your elbow up as high as you can so that you're trying to get breadth across your chest, and then all the way back down and twist back up and just hold it for a couple of seconds at the top. Breathe out as you twist up. Now, to get a bit more extension here, I am pushing the floor away with this arm. So my supporting arm is quite active and I'm pushing the floor away as I'm bringing that elbow back and squeezing my shoulder blades together on the back of my chest. So we'll just do a couple more. Okay, and then swap sides. I have this supporting arm a little bit, it's not completely central, but it's not out to the side, it's just in towards centre a little bit. That just helps me push the floor away, and it also helps with my balance. So again, opposite elbow to opposite arm. If you're seated, don't forget to swap sides. And keep breathing. And we'll do that forward hang in between each one, again, just to see if we can get a little bit more extension through the back to allow for a bit more twisting. So if you're seated, think of leaning forwards, bottom back, and really extend forwards. If we can use gravity, the closer your feet are together, the more of a stretch you'll get in the back of your legs. And we're not aiming for that particularly today. So if you are not particularly bendy in your hamstrings, have your feet a little bit wider. Mine are the width of my yoga mat, which means I don't have to worry about my hamstrings too much. They're stretched nicely, but they are not my restricting factor. So I can concentrate here on imagining that weight pushing down on my sacrum so that I can lift up the back of my legs. Imagine a waterfall, so up the back of your legs and down through your back, and use your arms to help that just extend. And just keep breathing. And make sure your feet have got those four corners on the mat. Okay. Right, next twist, a little frog twist. So you can return, if you're seated, you can return to the one that we've just done, the alternator, and see if you can get a little bit wider now in that extension. We're doing the same sort of move, but we're just going to stretch through the hips. So if you can kneel on the floor, think of knees wide and feet wide, so your feet are not together, so you're in like a little frog position. And just to start off with, we're just going to rock backwards and forwards just to get those hips comfortable and used to this position, because this is going to stretch through the hip joint, which is fine. So we're now going to hold it in the rock back position, and we're going to do the same sort of move. So the elbows behind the head, we're going to bend down towards the opposite hand and then try and open up as much as we can. So we're still going for the movement through the upper thoracic, and we're now getting a bit of a stretch through our hips as well in a different way. And you may find that you will not get quite as much rotation through the back, and that's okay. So again, exactly the same on this side, hand behind your head, elbow down, and we're aiming. And I'm still pushing with that supporting arm to try and twist through as much as I can and open my chest. And keep breathing. And then just rock forwards and then come out of that hip stretch. And we'll go back into that extension. So if you're seated, stretch forwards. And if you're hanging, use gravity. I feel like I'm getting an awful lot lower now, but I don't know that I am. It does feel like I've got a bit more space in my back. Quite like this hang. Remember when you're coming up from a forward hang, because if you stay here for an amount of time, your blood runs to your head. So come up nice and slowly, so you don't get a head rush. And if you do get a head rush, sit down with your head towards the floor. Okay, a seated twist now. So again, we've done these before. So if you're sitting, we'll do them cross-legged, sitting nice and tall. If you're sitting in a chair, we're still sitting nice and tall. And we're going to put one hand, in fact I'll do it this way so you can see, one hand across your thigh and the other hand across the back of the chair. If we're not on the chair, we're going to push the floor away with our other hand, and we're trying to twist our chest all the way round. So hopefully you can see I'm quite broad across my chest. I'm not crunched forwards, so I'm not hunched forwards. I'm sitting nice and tall, and I'm thinking of keeping that breath all the way through my chest as I twist round. And keep breathing, and each time you breathe out, see if you can twist a little bit more. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then again, staying nice and tall. Second time, always better. Let's come round to this side. And once more on the second side. See if you can get your chest round as much as it will go, pulling on your thigh and pushing or pulling on the back of the chair or pushing the floor away. Okay, and then we'll do the extension. So, seated, think of sticking your bottom backwards and stretching your head forwards. You'll be sitting on the edge of your chair and keeping your back nice and long. If you are hanging, make sure your feet, I keep lifting my big toes up off the floor, which is not good. Only in so much that you don't get as much extension through your back. So it all comes from your base, so being able to push the four corners of your foot into the floor means I can push up and over and actually get a bit more extension, a bit more stretch through my legs so I can get more extension through my back. And just that hang and that breathing, and make sure everything is relaxed. We don't want any tension, because if you've got any tension, your muscles are going to tense up, which means they're going to stop your joints moving, which is what they're designed to do, which is fine. But if we can relax our muscles relax the muscles that you're not stretching. You can stretch through the muscles that you are, and you can get a bit more movement through the joints that you're aiming for. Okay, and then come up slowly. And then we're going to do a hip stretch, a twist. So we're going to have, I'll show you this side, one leg straight, again sitting nice and tall. If you're in a chair, put one knee across your thigh and you're bending over. If you're sitting on the floor, other foot next to your knee, and you hug this knee in. So you're pulling that knee towards your chest, so there's a bit of a twist across the body for your knee. So, and as you're doing that, you're thinking of stretching, twisting round the opposite way with your belly, so your belly button comes across your thigh, and then pushing the floor away and broadening across your collarbones to stretch through again, twist through the back. So you should feel a stretch in the outside of that hip, in that piriformis, and you're twisting through your body. We'll swap sides so I can show you this side. So knee up nice and tall, and hug that knee across the body. So you should feel that stretch there. So the knee's coming across, so there's the twist across your body, and then at the same time we're thinking of bringing your belly button through that gap, pushing the floor away and broadening across your chest. And keep breathing. Okay, bit of a hip stretch, and one final hang. Feet flat on the floor, bottom back if you're sitting in the chair, and reach forwards with your head. And just relax. And up you come nice and slowly. So, hopefully your back feels like there's a bit more, it's a bit more stretch, it's got a bit more space in between each of your vertebrae. You've done some twisting through your upper thoracic, so that should feel a little bit more mobile. And your hips have had a little bit of a stretch as well, so they should feel a little bit more relaxed and a bit more space in those. So, Movement Not Miracles. From next week, I will be running Movement Not Miracles on a Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so 3 days live sessions. You can access the videos on the website, and we will also be adding more on the website, some more tutorial videos. Eat, Move, Be Happy is a lot more than the peer support group. So if you haven't checked out the website yet, go and have a look. www.eatmovebehappy.com. The website is your full well-being solution. So lots of ideas on moving better, eating better, and boosting your mental health. And for July, we are asking for your help to help us grow our membership. And for every new member we get in July, we will donate £5 to the charity Mind. So not only will you be helping yourself, you'll also be helping others, which is one of our philosophies. So check out the website, there are different subscription levels, and tell us what you think. And you can use the peer support group to do that. So thank you for watching, and look after yourselves in this rainy weather. Hopefully the sun will come back out soon, and I will see you tomorrow.